I've got something interesting going on with my truck right now. I've got cords hanging everywhere. That one's actually going inside the shop. That's a fuse box cover. I got that all opened up right now. I got this thing up here. This wire. Hang on. Uh-oh. Don't want that getting away from me here and touching the ground and blowing everything up, because that wouldn't be cool. Oh, this wire that I'm hooking it to right now actually goes to my dash, and well, I guess I can leave that there for just a moment to show you what's going on. In here you'll see my gas gauge is exploded over the fuel mark, over the full mark rather. I have probably about 20 to 21 gallons in the tank still at 78 miles. Okay, more like about 20 miles, I guess. 60, 75, yeah, so about 20 gallons in the tank right now. And right now that is overblown because this wire is what goes to the fuel sending unit in the tank. Now, this wire here is actually going over to the PCM. Originally on these 97 trucks, the fuel gauge is run directly by the sending unit in the fuel tank. And as such, you don't really get much out of the PCM that way. Okay, there. Now it's not going to go anywhere. Maybe I can pick up my light now. Yeah. My awesome little pull cord shop light. Anyway, it comes down. It's a long wire right now because it's not really fully set up yet, but it goes to the PCM connector 2 pin 38. And then this red wire you see also going to the PCM, it goes to pin 55, I think. I can't remember. Let's go to my pinouts. And, okay, fuel tank level output to gauge, that's 38. And where's my other fuel tank level? Sensor, okay, 54. 54 is my sensor input rather. And right now it's going down there and it's going to where this connector should be plugging in. And that goes to the fuel gauge sending unit. And right now what I am attempting to do is get the levels properly set up in the tune. And as you can see, it is no longer pointing straight due east. It is now pointing way east, northeast. We'll just go with that. And what I'm doing right now is changing values in the PCM tune with my handy little HP tuners software right here, with this USB cable going down and over to HP tuners, which goes over to the dash, and the onboard diagnostics 2 port. This over here is the fuel system settings. I've got my capacity, 26 gallons, and right now I'm playing around with the gauge output. See, right now this is not set properly. I've just got this set the way it is so I can do some preliminary testing. And then I come over here to the VCM scanner and I can hit the record key up here, go online with the truck, and it'll tell me actually what it thinks the fuel level is right now, which probably isn't too far off, honestly, because I sort of set it there. The current tank sensor voltage is at 1.27 volts. When I checked it earlier with the ohm meter, it was about 85 ohms at the sender itself. So that's what it's reading right now, and over time I'm going to have to set this manually, as I run out of fuel or put more fuel in or whatever. But right now 20.5 is about where it should be, I think. Okay, I gotta shut this back off now. Go back off, and I'm gonna leave this alone for right now. And right now I am playing with the gauge output level, so it takes whatever it believes the fuel percentage to be. Right now it thinks it's sitting about 68%, I think. That doesn't sound right. Hang on. Okay, it thinks it's sitting at about 78% right now, so right in between here and here. So I'm just changing everything from here all the way to the end, and I'm trying to get it so that it's pointing directly at the end of the gauge, right at the full mark, I should say. And we'll write this to the PCM right now. It's gonna do its thing. Okay, now it is writing that information to my PCM right now. And I'll go back in here. You might hear a relay click before it starts, but it's going to move pretty quickly here. That was the fuel pump relay, in case you didn't hear it. Or if you did hear it, that was the fuel pump relay. Okay, it looks like 70 is about the maximum mark. Amazing, that's a pretty rounded off number. I didn't think it'd be that rounded off. You could probably do it with a little bit of tweaking, but that looks like the high point. Now, the low point is probably going to be 0. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll come back over here. And since it's sitting between 70 and 80 right now, I'll just go in, I'll change all of these. Let's say, we'll just drop it to 10%. And it's going to ignore everything lower than that because that's not where it's sitting right now. And we'll go back and we will write again. And then we will listen for the fuel pump relay to go again. And then the gauge should move. Whee! All the way to 0. Crap, that's too far. Okay, so 0 obviously is not the empty mark. Actually, it's below empty, but so I'm gonna need to tweak with this a little bit and get it set just right. I'm probably just going to plug everything back into stock for the moment until I just get more time to mess with it. But for the moment, right now, this is looking pretty good. Another thing I'm having to deal with right now is the fact that the gauge, I gotta think about this. The wiring diagram says that the newer models get ignition voltage from the well, hell, I ain't gonna bother with that right now. Anyway, the circuit for the fuel gauge, power comes from the battery, goes to the gauge, and then the gauge goes down into the engine bay, under the truck, goes to the fuel sending unit, and then grounds at the back. So that's the regular circuit. What I've got it doing now is power comes in to the gauge. And it does this little thing up in the gauge, and now it's going to the PCM, which is controlling the ground via pulse width modulation. And the PCM is getting its info from the wire that goes underneath and grounds to the frame after going through the sensor. It's all a whole bunch of fun stuff. And you'll notice right now I have no back lights at all, but I have front lights. That's because this connector down here has all of my lights and that fuel sending unit wire. Because this connector goes all into the dash. The other connector that has the fuel pump wire and the ground is down there somewhere. Okay, yeah, it's right behind the one that's unplugged, and it goes to the PCM and the ground point. So that's that, and that's what I'm playing with right now in this dark time. It is currently 7:40. You know, I got all these open windows, I got Windows XP running in the background and giving me more information from On Demand 5. That's where I'm getting all these wiring diagrams. They're freaking sweet. They've helped me do so much with this truck, I tell you what. Something else I just did today. There's a new fuse here that was not here previously. This fuse used to be up here, and it used to run this terminal which I had my electric fans plugged into. Well, the electric fans are still plugged in, but I got a spare fuse box from a junkyard, and I tore into the bottom of it, and as you can see, all this wiring comes out, and it's identical, obviously. But I took out one of these pins and stuck it in mine and hooked it up so that the wiring to my electric fans practically looks stock, to be honest with you. Yeah, that taped up wire between the dirty red and the wire loom there goes to this wire loom, and then it follows and goes over to my relays over here. Yep, and I can actually control that with the PCM controls too. Go bi-directional controls here. Let's go over to VCM scanner, and I have to go online with the truck again. We'll do that, and then I can use this little button right here, and I can go down here and I can go system. Nope, wrong one. Yep, that's right. Okay, and I have my fan controls, speed 1, speed 2. I can even control the AC clutch, the air conditioner compressor. So there's that. And we can just play around with this right now for the heck of it. I don't care. AC clutch. There's that. Then we got fan speed 1, fan speed 2, and there's that. And you can hear all my relays clicking in there too. So that's me playing with my truck right now. Hopefully it'll still run at the end of all this mess. There's really no reason it shouldn't. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut up now. This clip is too long. It's going to be a video all by itself, it looks like. I gotta put my dash back together. Yeah, good stuff. I probably have a couple engine codes right now because I enabled several diagnostic trouble codes in the tune. I'll shut these off. I don't need those on anymore. We can go up here, and it'll open up my DTCs. Read. No DTCs detected. Oh, that's cool. Earlier it was detecting my fuel level was wrong because I hadn't hooked it up yet. But now it's hooked up. For now. I'm not going to leave it like this tonight. Eventually I'm going to get these wires shortened and properly routed over, probably through the loom. I need to take this loom apart because I still need to clean this mess up. I hate this mess right here. And I just haven't bothered taking the time to fix it yet. And something else I can do here, you watch, it says 12.75 right now, but I can shake the truck and actually get it to move quite a bit. And even on this timeline here, you can see, watch it change. Let me see if I can get my cord up in there right. It's gonna keep losing focus probably, but you can get the general idea. The yellow line on the bottom graph is the one you want to watch. The one that says 12.75, no, 1.275 right now. And I'm gonna shake the truck to get the fuel moving. I guess a little more than the fuel moving, but you can see what's going on here. That's how I know for a fact I've got the right sensor and the right thing plugged in. Not to mention the wiring diagrams tell me everything I need to know. So it'll go back and forth for a while. But the diagram, like I was talking about, let's see, this is an 02 Silverado. I don't want the 02 Silverado, I want my truck. This one here. Okay. 1997 K1500 wiring diagram for the instrument cluster. So you got the fuel gauge just sitting right there in the middle. This line right down the middle here with all the dots on it, that is pin 22, which is this pink wire here that goes over here and goes to my gauges fuse. So that is what runs all these other gauges as well. But we're not looking at those. We're looking at this fuel gauge. One side of it grounds, and the other side goes to pin 16. Is that 16? Yes, that is 16. Which is a purple wire, and it comes down. My mouse is not functioning. It comes down, it goes across, and then it splits, because apparently these trucks came with a dual fuel tank option stock, which I was not aware of before. Now, so without the dual fuel tank, because I don't have that, it continues as a purple wire and goes straight to the fuel pump and sender, and then that goes to the ground. And that's the end of all of it. That is the end of all of it. And on the newer vehicles, it goes to the PCM first, which is what I am actually doing here. But I've gone and disconnected everything now, so we're gonna watch as this sensor goes from its 1.275 to something a little bit higher, to say the least. And we're gonna see it now. Boom! Straight up jump to 5. Because that's what the PCM provides to the sensor. So that's the end of that, pretty much. And that's the end of that. So I gotta put the wire back in its connector, and then I gotta plug it back in so that all my lights will work in the back. And that'll be the end of all of it.